Hi guys. Today we're going to be talking about something called down the drain dilemmas. So first of all, we need to make sure that we can define the word dilemma. A dilemma is when you're stuck behind two alternatives and both of them are kind of like not the best, right? Like it's not a very clear choice where one thing's the right choice and one thing's the wrong choice and the right choice is clearly the right choice. With a dilemma, there's negatives to both, and you have to kind of figure out which of the two negatives you're going to pick, basically. So you have to choose from two alternatives, both of which could produce negative things, also maybe both of which have positive things. Like they're both just kind of there. There's not a clear good choice over the other choice. So here's an example of a dilemma. Laura has a dilemma. She knows that all water flows down the drains in her house, goes to the wastewater treatment plant, and that using water unwisely wastes this valuable resource and money. Her grandmother lives with her family and does all the laundry. Laura has noticed that Granny only fills the washing machine half full, but washes it on a full load cycle. Therefore, it's using twice as much water as it needs to. When she asked Granny why she did this, Granny told her that she liked to have the clothes have plenty of water around them. What is the problem with Granny's washing habits, and what can Granny do to create less wastewater? So as you can see, we sort of have a dilemma. We have Granny who's doing a nice thing by washing the clothes, but then she's also not really doing the right thing and she's ending up wasting water. So the dilemma is, do we tell her about it? Can we do it in a nice, respectful, kind way? And what negative could come out of that? Well, maybe she could get upset or she could get offended. But then what is the other negative is all this water is getting wasted. So the dilemma is, ooh, I got to do something about it, but also it's kind of like a yucky situation. So in that situation, what could you do to suggest to Granny, right? Like you could teach her about what happens. She probably doesn't know about all the water and that when you waste it, that it wastes resource at the wastewater treatment plant. For your assignment today, you're going to be given a dilemma and you're going to have to try to correct the problem and give an appropriate solution. I'm going to share my screen with you. And I'm going to show you what these dilemmas look like. These are the dilemma cards. Okay, so let's look at this first one. Sal's burgers and fries. After frying his burgers and fries, Sal pours the leftover grease down the drain. Sometimes he flushes it down the toilet. Ugh. So grease, once it gets to a wastewater treatment plant, creates a big problem, right? If you've ever looked at grease and water are not friends, right? They reject each other. The grease tends to get really clumpy and it can guck up all the systems in the wastewater treatment plant. So the dilemma is he's got grease, he has to do something with it, but what he's doing with it isn't the right thing to do. So what would your suggestion be to Sal? We also have Lane's laundromat. She's pleased with business. She's had 10 washing machines going all day long. Well, we want her laundromat to do well, so this is sort of a hard dilemma because is she using a lot of water? Yes. But does she also want to have a successful business? And is that part of her business? Yes. So can you think of a creative solution for Lane where she could save water that wouldn't hurt her business? So in other words, an answer to that dilemma couldn't be, oh, well, just have her use less washing machines. Well, then she makes less money because that's her business, right? So we don't want that. What other creative solution can you think of for a business like a laundromat where there is a lot of water getting used? There are options like high efficiency energy washing machines that use as little water as possible. There are also options where certain businesses that there's ways to use a filter where they can reuse their water. So it sort of creates like a circular system where the water, instead of going to the wastewater treatment plant, gets looped back in and reused. So let's look at this. Larry's car wash, similar. He had a terrific weekend at the car wash. He washed 300 cars in 2 days. Awesome for business, not so awesome for water usage. So what questions might you have for Larry? What ways are you saving water? Is it possible that instead of having water running all the time, you could use a bucket and you could reuse some of the same water in the bucket, right? So those are some things that we need to think about. All right, let's look at 323 Newsom Ave. Mrs. Lawson needed to throw away an old can of paint thinner that she found in her basement. She was afraid to put it in her garbage can because it is flammable, true, and she knew it would kill her grass if she poured it outside. Luckily, she had a sink in her basement, so she poured it down the drain. Shouldn't be pouring anything down the drain other than water, right? And maybe soap goes down the drain and toothpaste, but we shouldn't be pouring anything like that down the drain. Does anybody know what the alternative is for getting rid of something that is considered household hazardous waste? So like paint, paint thinner, paint remover, liquid like that. Does anybody know? Different towns have different rules. And so in some of them, they recommend actually filling it with kitty litter, and that absorbs the liquid, and then you can put it in the trash can outside. Some towns actually have a toxic waste pickup where they will pick up the paint and they will recycle the paint responsibly. So you got to think about some solutions for Mrs. Lawson. Okay. The last one we're going to look at right now is Starlight Apartment Building, Apartment 24C. The Roberts family had just got back from Grandma's house. She sent 3 jars of pickled cabbage home with them. They all hate pickled cabbage. So Mrs. Roberts put all 3 jars full down the garbage disposal. Goodbye, stinky cabbage. Okay, so garbage disposal eventually pulls the liquid out of that, whatever's put down it, and that liquid still goes down the drain to go to the wastewater treatment plant. So what is something that they could have done? What's a creative solution they could have done with all that pickled cabbage? Could they have told Grandma that they dislike it so that maybe she doesn't waste her time making it? Could they have found a neighbor or a friend to give it to that wants to have the pickled cabbage? So different things you can think about with that. The very last one we're going to look at is apartment 6D in the Starlight apartment building. Every morning, Marcus turns hot water on in the shower, closes the bathroom door, and waits a few minutes. So the shower and the water in the bathroom will be toasty warm. Okay, so the dilemma, he wants a warm, hot shower, a nice steamy bathroom, but what's happening for the few minutes that water's running, that no one's in there, that water is all getting wasted. So what suggestions might you have for Marcus? Yes, we understand you like a nice warm bathroom. Is there a different solution, a different thing that could make a nice warm bathroom? Could there be maybe like a heater? Yes, that's using electricity, but that's the dilemma, right? If he really wants a nice warm bathroom, is there a different way he could have that without wasting water? So you got to think about that. So those are some of our dilemmas. That's what the word dilemma means. It means kind of stuck behind a rock in a hard place. Which path are we going to choose? You need to think about today some creative solutions to help people with these dilemmas. But remember, we don't want to hurt their business, right? We don't want to, our solution can't be, we'll do less of that, right? Because if that's their business, that's their livelihood. So we can't do that. So you need to think about how can we make suggestions or be creative? How could we maybe reuse water? How could we use less water without taking away, especially from the business, but also from what people like, right? If someone likes a hot shower, how can we make sure they get a hot shower without being wasteful with water? So I can't wait to see your creative solutions. You're going to type those into your Google form today. All right. Have a great day.